Let's have a yap sesh about witchcraft.
I love this. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Lori, and welcome to How to Use Spirit. And we are so excited today. We have Marissa with us, and Chelsea, of course.
Hi.
And they're going to get super witchy. And we're also going to be doing this once a month and have a lot of fun things planned and super excited about it. So, Marissa.
Hi.
Hello. How did you initially get into witchcraft?
Oh boy, so that is a very loaded question because I feel like I have been a witch my entire life.
Okay.
Especially my mom's side, my mom's lineage.
Uh-huh.
I believe has been full of witches.
Wow.
Full of them. My grandma was a green witch. I truly believe my mom is a bit of a green witch as well.
Does she practice?
So no.
Okay.
I also am an ex-Mormon. So my lineage was very Mormon.
Very LDS, yeah.
So because of that, LDS, I should say LDS.
Yes.
Because of that, witchcraft was obviously a no-no. But the way that they moved through the world, especially the women on my mom's side of the family, were just very witchy. And I always kind of leaned into more magical thinking. I was always very interested in psychology, but just like the energies of the world. And I'm also a Pisces rising, so I'm very like dreamy. I'm very in my head all the time, and that lends to witchcraft.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a lot of psychic energy in your chart.
Lots of psychic energy. So I am a psychic as well. It's interesting kind of playing both sides, right? A witch and a psychic, because they're kind of like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
You're using the physical aspect for witchcraft, and then psychic abilities are all mental. So it's kind of like bridging the gap when you're a psychic witch. Okay. It's a very interesting energy to live within. Right? But it also helps to be a psychic witch because when I'm doing my witchcraft, I don't necessarily need to think about it too much because I get the downloads of what I need to do, the rituals that I need to perform, the herbs that I need to use, the crystals that I need to use. But essentially, how I launched into accepting the fact that I was a psychic and I was a witch was in 2021. We're going to get a little dark. Sorry, audience.
No.
I had a sexual assault situation.
Okay.
And I was working in tech at that time. I was a technical architect at Twitch, which is an Amazon company. So very like techie. And the company would give us a week off for 4th of July. And I would usually take another week off just so I had like 2 weeks to just chill,
right,
hang out, not have to think about work. And the assault happened on the 3rd of July. So all of a sudden I had 2 weeks of having to sit in this energy.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know what to do. It was kind of just like this psychological ride of just like, ooh, whatever that was, I don't want any more of that. Which is how I bought my first 2 decks of tarot. And tarot was kind of my gateway into witchcraft and my gateway into types of witchcraft, which divination is a type of witchcraft, right? But it's also a psychological thing as well because you're putting your energy into the cards that you need to reflect in. That 2 weeks is very fundamental in me realizing that, one, I don't want to be in tech anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work for somebody anymore. But it also kind of, right, like, we're not meant to make rich men richer. Let's just say that right now. And I was definitely doing that for longer than I should have. But it's interesting how the universe kind of pushes you out of situations that you're not meant to be in.
Exactly.
Right.
You get forced out, right?
You get forced out. And I lasted another 3 years in tech at that point, but 2023 actually, and let's talk about that really quick. I think a lot of people are coming back to a cycle, a 3-year cycle with Saturn in Pisces started in 2023. And I think a lot of us had kind of a realization of who we were and what we're meant to do then. And the universe kind of threw us all into these trials.
I totally resonate with that.
Yeah. What happened to you?
Well, because we've been doing this for about 3 years now, but that's exactly when I started getting into more, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's
2023.
crazy.
So Saturn just moved into Aries, which is taking the lessons that you have learned and starting to take action.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of fun that this is now happening,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm now being visible.
Yes.
I'm being in my Aries energy of taking action and speaking my stuff and, really starting to kind of own my witchiness instead of just kind of doing it in my house
Mm-hmm.
and hoping no one thinks I'm weird about it.
Yes, we have to come out of the closet,
You have to come out of the closet. And Taco, who is a regular guest,
Yes.
I actually saw her for the first time in 2023.
Okay.
That was kind of part of my transition. And she, every time I see her, yells at me, "You need to come out of the psychic closet." And I'm just like, but I have to have a job, Taco. And she's like, "No, you don't." So
she does that. And it's like, wait a
it's
minute.
like, but how am I going to make money? She's like, "It'll come." And I'm like, but like, how am I going to make money?
Right.
So, but I got laid off from Twitch in 2024, like first week of 2024, got laid off. And then I spent 2 years living off of my savings,
Mm-hmm.
healing, and starting to build my little apothecary,
Wow.
starting to build my library of spell books, and just start to just kind of lean into who I was always, which is a psychic witch. And yeah, I think that kind of is a good intro. That was a yappy intro.
No, it's great. I love that story. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. I want to hear yours. Like your
Well, speaking
Intro.
of Saturn, I want to know how your Saturn return went.
oh boy. So let's go back to my Saturn return.
It would be Saturn and Aquarius, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that was more of the. I have to think about that.
Okay.
I'll have to get back to you. How was your Saturn? I think mine was bad.
Mine was pretty bad. Well, yeah, I got a divorce. I became a single mom.
Yikes.
Like, my whole world flipped upside down. So
Saturn was like, "Hey, here's some lessons."
Yeah.
pretty much, she knows.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. What was
Yeah.
yours like, Lori?
My biggest lesson was I was just stuck in a bad relationship and couldn't get out. And I learned lots of lessons from that, for sure. And it's interesting because when I came out of that marriage, that very long marriage, excuse me, it actually, that's when I woke up too, when I started waking up and Miss Taco, I was sitting alone on the couch by myself on a Friday night, and out of the blue, she texts me and she says, "Hey, I'm doing my training class." She used to yeah. And you just need to come. I really want you to come. So I went, and that's how it all started. And I just started to lean more into it. But I 100% opened up way more when I wasn't in that situation. So yeah, yeah. And I was in that situation till 2012, I believe, is when I got to, how old was I? Was 42.
Which is a powerful number in itself.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's when I really started leaning into everything, learning. And I feel like too, I was able to be more open,
Yes.
because I didn't have
Judgment.
all the judgment, yes, and the darkness around me.
Your energy being sucked dry.
Yeah, yes, 100%. So yeah, that's the story.
Now that I've heard your stories, I can remember what mine was. It was around the time of the sexual assault, but it was combined with me realizing that situations that I had put myself in were not places that I was meant to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually just there to be kind of a walking tower moment for a lot of people, which is my lot in life as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Chelsea
Scorpio energy.
Right? Chelsea's looked at my whole chart. I'm lots of Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio sun. I'm a Scorpio Venus. I'm a Scorpio Lilith, Scorpio Pluto. So it's just like I'm all about that death and transformation energy. But because of that, I call myself a corporate death god as well. Where I'll come in and I'll expose all the rot and all of the inefficiencies.
Uh-huh.
And if the place can't take it, I'm sure
We have
that was
so
a reaction.
much in common.
Right? You expose just by being there.
Yeah.
You expose the inefficiencies, right?
Yeah.
And then it's up to the corporation to either handle that gracefully and listen to you and listen to how you can fix it, or else they die.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have ever heard about WeWork.
I haven't.
There's documentaries about it. Jared Leto played the founder. I had a little jaunt into WeWork for 5 months, and that company exploded.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And right when they are about to, for the audience, they'll probably know, right when they were about to do an IPO, which is an initial public offering, I left. I got my job at Twitch, which was my biggest growth moment in corporate tech. And I learned a ton there. But yeah, WeWork doesn't really exist in the way it did anymore when I was there for 5 months, which was the most chaotic, well, until my most recent career stint, which will probably, I was also there for 5 months. So that's the other thing with astrology and also witchcraft is you can utilize the cycles, and right? The Saturn return is a cycle. A lot of us have numerology where we'll see cycles. So the numbers 13 and 3 are very prominent in my chart and very prominent in my life. So I see a lot of 13-year cycles. I see a lot of 3-year cycles. And it's kind of just like you utilize that cycle energy to either resolve karmic energy or debt, or use that to launch yourself into a new, if we want to go woo about this, timeline, right? But it's really just what you're choosing and which energy you're choosing to bring to your life.
Wow. Wow. So what did you two want to talk about today?
What do you think, Chelsea?
So we're going to kind of get into how witchcraft has to do with psychology, because they kind of go hand in hand, and you wouldn't think, because a lot of people didn't really believe witchcraft was even a thing. I mean, I know there was like there were witches, obviously, because it comes from somewhere. And we know a couple of witches that have been witches for a very long time. But I just noticed that when I am more grounded, it's easier for me to go into that practice of witchcraft, because like if I can't focus, I can't even do a spell really. Or like even tarot will be kind of chaotic, and I'm like, that doesn't feel right. Like maybe I should pull when I'm more grounded.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, to your point, and also I think if we did some research, we'd find that a lot of witches are actually neurodivergent, ADHD, autistic. Both.
Really?
I'm both of those. And witchcraft helps you kind of organize the chaos and focus into the ritual that you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Chelsea, do you do more sympathetic magic?
So a lot, I've been experimenting for a while, but I'll have times where I go out of it. And so I wouldn't say I'm super experienced, but I do a lot of what you do. I follow my intuition, and I just like one day I was like, I want to do candle magic today. And I just kind of did what felt right, and I've been kind of into that lately. And every day I have a crystal somewhere in my pocket or on me.
Love it.
Because they help me feel grounded.
Yes.
So.
And I truly believe that crystals and herbs and plants, they all vibrate at a certain frequency, which allows you to match your intent with that frequency. That's why some herbs are protective herbs and some crystals are protective crystals, because they can especially hold that type of energy. And when I think of witchcraft, I also think of it as like sometimes you're just like a chef and you're creating a recipe. And some chefs that are more intuitive and more creative don't look at a recipe. They just are like, I know salt and sugar will have this effect in this. So I'm going to use those two things combined with a bunch of other stuff. I think witchcraft can be very similar to that, where you have an intent. You're like, okay, I'm doing a protective spell. Therefore, I know which crystals and herbs are protective and which ones I want to use in this spell to have the effect that I want. And once you kind of understand at least the basics, like you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to know what every single herb does. Right. Or every single crystal does. I think a lot of people get scared by that because there's also kind of this weird mystery around witchcraft. And
it's not scary.
It's not scary. And I'll say Men are the ones that made it scary.
Yep.
Men are the ones that put the rules around it. Like if we're talking about like Aleister Crowley and like all of these men that got super into the occult and just put a bunch of rules around it and made it scary and kind of made this gatekeeper. It's not.
Yeah, you just have to educate yourself.
Right.
Well, it's
not.
funny because when I started coming out of the closet and diving into things, Chelsea would tell me things. She'd be like, "Oh, I'm doing a spell," and I'm like, "Huh?
Like, what do you mean?
What? And she's, "Yeah, I'm witchy." I'm like, "Huh?" I didn't know what to think because of that. That it's scary. It's, you know, that whole thing around it. And at first I was kind of freaked out by it, honestly. But now I'm super intrigued and I just want to learn. But there's just so much to learn. And like you said, I have tons of crystals. And I have to look up sometimes what they mean because, I mean, I know my basic ones, but I love them too and what they can, the energy they can bring. But I can't remember what every one of them does, you know?
And we're not supposed to. Like, and also, like, I want to say, based on also your astrology and your human design, you may resonate with a crystal not because of the actual like benefit of it that's documented, but based on you.
Because I just got the chills when I pick crystals. I come in and I pick 2 or 3 that I'm resonating with that day.
Yes.
Yeah, I do that every day. I'll pick, like, if I don't feel like one is right, I won't pick it up, and then I'll go for the ones that really just bring me a grounded energy. I mean, I know not every crystal is supposed to be grounded, but it helps me and my anxiety.
It's your psychology.
It's so crazy.
Also, like, I do have a psychology degree. I graduated. I do.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I graduated from the U of U with a psychology, a bachelor's in psychology. So, like, it always fascinated me. And when I started getting into witchcraft and understanding that intention is psychology and focusing your intention into a ritual is where the actual magic it isn't about the crystal that you're using. It isn't about the specific herbs you're using. It's the intention and how you are focusing that intention into what you are doing. So, but speaking of crystals, I just want to tell a little funny story.
Okay.
Last year I was project managing a cybersecurity conference, and like the audience are tech men, right? And they're probably not super woo-woo.
Right.
Like, they probably don't believe in witchcraft, you know, but the whole time I had just pockets full of my crystals, right? Black tourmaline, I always have to have black tourmaline because that just kind of makes me feel safe. But I had a bunch of other crystals, and we were having some technological issues with our check-in system. And I would throw a crystal at it, and it would work pretty much the whole time. And
That's what we need to do.
Right. Just throw a crystal at it. And these men who had never been exposed to like crystals and witchcraft were watching this happen in front of them, and they were just like, how did you do that? And like, it's energy. Everything is energy. And witchcraft is the craft of manipulating energy. So it's not scary. It's not evil. You can do evil things with it. If your intentions are not great, then it's not going to be a great practice. I don't do a lot of baneful magic.
What is that?
So baneful magic is using it to direct or not really harm somebody else, but you know, you're trying to affect another person in a negative way.
So like curses,
hexes. So curses, I believe, you are creating negative energy. Hexes are you are utilizing the negative energy that already exists. So I prefer hexing over cursing. Because again, you're just accelerating their just desserts. It's kind of like a return to sender spell, right? That's a hex. You're utilizing the energy that already exists. I never want to bring more negative energy into the world. We have enough of that.
Plenty.
We can utilize all of the negative energy and be fine. But like sometimes, you know, some people feel like they do need to curse somebody, or they do need to do like baneful magic, but I'm not into it. And Like, I don't like chaos magic. I like being a chaos magic witch in that I don't follow any specific system.
Yes.
That's the chaos of me. But I will not do chaos magic. It is way too, like, there's too many avenues for your psychological intent to be misinterpreted or used in a way that you didn't intend, because you are not putting your specific intention into that specific ritual. So at some point we'll have to talk about chaos magic more in depth, because a lot of people use it, and I've seen it destroy some people's lives. Oh, wow. So it's energy exchange, really. Yeah. Witchcraft is energy exchange and energy manipulation.
Yep, there's always a pendulum that swings. So
you always have to balance it out.
What do you like messing around with the most?
Oh boy. Do I like messing around with the most?
I know you have an apothecary.
I do have an apothecary. So I love spell jars. Spell jars are that was the first thing that I really got into, because that is something where you have a physical manifestation of what you did, and I really like the aspect of being able to shake it. If you want to release some of the energy, you can shake it. You can kind of personify the jar. Like when I was making them for my friends, I'm like, you can name it, you can give it a personality. That's just going to give it more energy, because you're giving more psychological thought to that thing. And it's kind of just like in a bottle, right? I have done a couple of abundance spell jars for friends, and it has worked really well for them. So I love messing with spell jars. I also love candle magic. Love candle magic. And I think that is a really good focusing type especially for ADHD autistic witches that just need to like sit and focus on something. Most of the time we can sit and stare at a flame for hours. And I have.
Wow.
Right? Like you just sit and stare at a flame, and it's a very meditative experience.
Even though sometimes it like blinds me a little bit.
Yeah. It kind of like burns into your brain.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't sit and stare at. I couldn't.
Well, and you can get birthday candles. They work. And
really?
So it doesn't.
So they're shorter.
Yeah, I have like the chime candles are an hour, and then I have the big boys that can go forever. But those chime candles sometimes go for 2 hours. It depends on the spell that I'm doing. It depends. Like if I'm doing kind of like an ego breaking spell for somebody, right? Oh my God, I had one chime candle that literally went for 5 hours.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there just like, I have to go to dinner. Like I have plans, buddy. And it was just like, it was just burning. And I'm just like, bruh, your ego, let it go. So you're kind of just like, you're being able to fight with it. And the candle magic and the fire magic of it as well. Again, it's this natural thing that you're watching it alchemize in real time. So if you're doing any type of rituals with fire, you are being able to actually watch it alchemize into energy, because that's kind of what fire does, right? So love those. And the apothecary, quite honestly, I got my apothecary together because I was planning to be an Etsy witch. Okay. So I was going to sell spell jars, spell jar kits.
And you're not now?
Well, eventually I may.
Yeah.
My life kind of went a little bit, was like, no, you're supposed to actually just be like a witch and teach people things. And I'm like, okay. So it's like, you're not just an Etsy witch. You're going to be teaching witchcraft, and you're going to be gathering witches together and gathering covens and teaching lessons and things like that. I'm like, all right, I guess. And I see myself as Frodo. Like I love Lord of the Rings, and Frodo I resonate with a lot, but he also kind of wanted to live a more simple life, but he had to take on more of a leadership role type of thing in the fellowship. And I resonate with that as well, where my life is just like, yeah, you're not supposed to be behind the scenes.
Yeah, me too. I have psychics and like card readers tell me all the time that I'm supposed to like be a leader, and that I'm not supposed to just like, because at other jobs like we were talking about big corporations, I don't want to be a manager. I just want to like do my thing and go home.
Yeah. Like vibe. And just like, I also don't think that the systems that exist right now are going to exist by the end of the year, honestly. I don't think we're going to have corporations where you have to just clock in and do a little job. It's going to be more about building community and supporting people and
Thank
teaching
goodness.
knowledge that is
Yeah.
shared, right?
Mhm.
Because if we also go into religion, because witchcraft and religion kind of go hand in hand, they're the opposite of each other. Religion is all about snuffing out that individual.
Yes.
You can do what you need to for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And as religion, organized religion is falling, as we're actively seeing it happen, we're going to need more people that understand that individual power is very, very needed right now. More people need to have that knowledge, and
Yeah.
knowledge is power. So we're being called to share that knowledge and give people more power, and
Right.
that just happens to be in the witchy realm.
Yeah, I
So.
love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, I'm just over here chilling up really bad.
And if you are into manifestation,
Yes,
you're doing witchcraft.
yes, you are. It's
Really?
spicy
So-
psychology.
okay, that makes sense.
It's really about the intent, but
Mhm.
what, like we were talking about, but for me, using something physical is more powerful for
Yes.
me, just personally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
But
it
you
helps.
don't have to.
It helps with a lot of people. Like manifestation is hard for a lot of people because it all is in your head.
Mhm.
Like what we talked about at the beginning. It's psychic versus witchcraft, right? Psychic, you are in your head. In witchcraft, you are bringing it into the 3D realm with herbs and crystals and things like that. So once you understand how to focus your intent, you don't necessarily need the herbs and the crystals unless that's what you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
But that's manifestation. A spell, a ritual is manifestation. You are manifesting an outcome, right? And then once you understand how powerful your intent is, then you kind of can get rid of the, I hate to say training wheels, because again, it is still very powerful, and there's always a place and time to use witchcraft to really ground in your intention, but manifestation is witchcraft.
Yeah. And since we were talking about how you think you've been doing witchcraft like your whole life,
Yeah.
I feel like I have too. There has been a couple times where I'm like, wait a minute, I was doing this stuff.
and you didn't know it.
Yeah. Like one time, and like I know you had your complications with my dad, but when I was a little girl, when we were living in that house with the green shutters,
Yeah.
and I remember, I don't know, I think me and Jeremy, or I was somewhere in like some field, and maybe I was with Jeremy. I don't really remember.
Maybe there was that field over there before they were parking.
Well, it was, I think it was by one of the churches, because there was like a bunch of dandelions, and I had wished that I would see my dad again.
Wow.
And then, sure enough,
Really?
I remember when he had gotten with his other ex, and then like he just like randomly came back into our lives. It was like right before.
Wow.
And so
Did you recognize it back then, or now you recognize it because where you are
I
today?
felt like I had done something magical.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, what the heck? But I didn't really realize till I got older what that was.
But you felt. I can see how you would feel that it felt magical,
Yeah.
right? Because it happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I do feel like that was something I did.
Yes.
Wow. I love it.
And I think a lot of us are born with it, or born with a knowing of how to do it. But anyone can do it, right?
Yeah.
Anyone, if you're open to it. And it is more of a female practice because I think we're just more in tune with the spirit realm, because we kind of have one foot in, one foot out, and men are a little bit more
They're just more
unfocused.
guarded. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they're very intuitive,
Yeah.
but they don't know how to focus their intuition, which makes it a lot harder for them to do witchcraft, which is why we have the Aleister Crowleys, why we have, even like Carl Jung and these people that put a lot of rules around metaphysical stuff, because they have to be able to organize their intention. When we're born into it, we know how to organize our intention,
Yeah.
right?
Unless you're like a more feminine man, I guess.
Yes, that's true. Like, and when I'm talking about, I probably shouldn't say men and women, it's energy. It's feminine energy and masculine energy.
Yeah.
Yin and yang.
Yeah.
Receptive action, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are feminine gendered men
Mm-hmm.
that have that energy and understand how to relate that because that's their energy. That's their soul energy, right?
They're gays, I guess.
All the gays, all the, like, and just like even transgender women, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
it's not about your physical form, it's about your energy
Yeah.
and what you can tap into. And also on that subject, we all have masculine and feminine energy.
Mm-hmm.
And once you learn how to balance those things, like I feel like I can tap into my masculine energy when I'm at work, when I'm working in tech, when I'm in these rooms with these powerful executives at these big companies. I can very quickly go into my masculine energy, but then I can very quickly switch into my feminine energy, which is where I have more of that ambition, where I can do those spells and just kind of think about what I want to do. And I do want to tell a quick story about how I realized that I was more of a green witch, and that was my favorite type of practice.
Yes.
Is I love plants.
Okay.
And I have a whole plant corner in my house of monsteras and just like all of these plants that just go crazy. And I was going through a bit of a breakup with a man.
Is it the man?
It is the man, the situationship. And I was trying to cut ties because I was just like done. I'm just like, I just can't deal with this anymore. Those damn soul ties, those damn soul contracts, right? I'm just like, I just can't. And I also think journaling is a form of witchcraft because you're spelling and you're, you know, spell, all this. But I had written a bunch of pages and I'm just like, I just don't want to have these pages anymore. So I went out into my garage and I burned the pages and I was I was propagating some monsteras. And these monstera leaves had been in my house for probably 2 years just in water, but they were still growing. I was like, this is crazy. I need to plant you guys. So I decided to burn the ashes of that, get some herbs that I felt were, helpful to whichever, like what I was trying to do, which was manifest that he stopped being avoidant. We'll go into that probably later. I don't know. But I burned the ashes, put it into the soil with some herbs and some crystals, propagated the plants, and that plant is now growing like crazy. And I actually re-upped it a little bit. I'm gonna weird some people out. I'm so sorry.
Nothing's weird here.
You can use your period blood in rituals.
Yeah.
That's the most powerful type of blood magic. And
Really?
it doesn't hurt anybody. You can put your period blood into plants, and that's a type of ritual. I also really like, again, this sounds gross, but again, it's you. You are using you for your ritual, and it's the most pure form of you. If you take a tampon or a pad from your first day of bleeding, you put it in a Ziploc bag, I promise you it will not stink. And you put it in your makeup bag for 3 days. And that's glamour magic because you're kind of utilizing the energy of your menstrual cycle to bring in beauty and kind of
Oh my gosh.
charm your tools for magic and your glamour magic. I also love glamour magic. Like what I've done is I've found the ingredients for all of my skincare and I've equated those ingredients to certain benefits based on the ingredients, right? And then I have what those ingredients are written on my skincare, and whenever I'm putting them on, I'm thinking about the properties of the herbs or
What's
the types of things in the
yeah.
skincare. And that in itself is a glamour magic ritual. So, but again, it goes back to spicy psychology because you are thinking about the properties that you want. You have the physical aspect of it, and then you are taking action.
Yeah.
And that in itself, at the basis of it, is witchcraft.
Yeah, and there's another good example. You know how Taco, whenever you're going through shit, and she's like, you need to just look in the mirror and start complimenting yourself. That's glamour magic. And also, it rewires your brain.
Yeah.
So it's psychology too.
Yeah.
So
Just getting kind of blown away. Wow.
And I mean, also, psychics are psychology as well.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about psychics, like, psychics are energy readers, and they will read your current energy. And as humans with free will,
Mm-hmm.
if we hear something we don't like from a psychic reading, we will consciously or subconsciously change it. And we can make those changes.
Yep.
The psychic is only reading your paths,
Mm-hmm.
your possibilities. And I know Barb has also been a guest on this. I see Barb as like a current energy reader and Taco as a future path possibility energy reader.
Yes.
And I've seen both of them. And I've seen how I have either rejected something they told me and changed it.
Same.
Yeah.
And been like, actually, no thanks. But then that changes the whole trajectory, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why some people are like, psychics are real. Because
Yeah.
they change it. They change what
Exactly.
they want to do.
That's so funny because I've been telling her we needed to talk about that, like how it's so misunderstood.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, oh, it's just woo woo, and they can't really predict everything. And it's like, well, 'cause you can change it.
Free will's a thing.
Yeah.
And same with tarot cards. And like you are reading the current possibilities in the current moment, and anything could change that.
yeah.
Not just your free will, but someone else's free will. Someone else that is entangled with you could make a choice, and all of a
Yep.
sudden that has changed things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's chaos, but in the most beautiful way. And yeah, psychics are very misunderstood in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when I've done readings in the past, if I see somebody, they're on their path, so I'm seeing like a straight path, but there's also like little offshoots, I guess, depending on what their choice, their free will is. Excuse me. So yeah.
Like with
People-
Taco, I feel like wish Taco will listen to this. She's
but
but I've seen like when she'd give me a reading and there's one path and then there's another path that goes straight off a cliff, but it gets me faster.
yeah,
I'll jump off that cliff.
you're all about it.
And then
You're
all of a
like,
sudden
here comes the chaos.
it's
I'm
like,
ready.
let's go. And then all of a sudden everything that she said is kind of irrelevant because I made the conscious choice to go off the cliff
Yeah.
instead of go on my scenic route, right?
Mhm.
And that's why also, like, if you go to the same psychic multiple times, it could be a very different message.
Mhm.
Also with psychics, they are also just humans. So a lot of the
Exactly.
times they are speaking to you from their lens of things.
Mhm.
And when psychics read for other psychics, that can become a vortex of mirrors because they are oftentimes we have similar paths and similar journeys.
Mhm.
So like I could be seeing my path and regurgitating it to you. You need to take what resonates with your path,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because again, we all have parallels. We all have certain cycles that we're going through. And I think especially right now with the energies going on, a lot of soul contracts are coming together, which means that we do have very similar cycles. And we need to be discerning about what is ours,
Mhm.
what's our situation,
Right.
and what is their situation, even though it is paralleled.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you may not resonate with another psychic. Like
Right.
if they may not fit you.
It's like a therapist,
Yeah.
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Their vibe or the way that they do things just might
Mhm.
not resonate with you. But don't write off the whole practice because one, something didn't come true,
Right.
or two, you didn't like the vibe of that specific psychic. It's same with tarot readers, it's same with witches. Like it's energy and it's how people work with energy. And I also do think that with capitalism like falling, and I don't think
Can it please just fall now? I'm so done.
next month it's going down. Mark my words.
We got
but
proof.
once that system is gone, what was I gonna say? My brain is like
the
capitalism's falling. With capitalism, it's all about competition. It's all about being the best. You know, we're gonna be moving into more of a what's best for you, and you'll have a community of psychics that you can consult with.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a village, takes a community. And I think it's also when you meet with a psychic, it's learning how you can tap into those abilities. Because again, we all have the ability to be a
Yep.
psychic.
Yeah.
We all have the ability to be a witch.
Mm-hmm.
We all have the ability to read tarot.
Yeah, you're not chosen.
You're not. No one's better than anybody else. And anytime you hear starseed, anytime you hear lightworker, run away, because that is a system where they're pulling out the chosen ones that are supposed to be better than everyone else. That is not how energy works.
No.
You have different energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not better or worse than anybody else.
just different.
Just
that makes
different.
sense. Yeah.
And you might have a combination that makes you, more natural in something. But it doesn't mean that somebody that doesn't have that combination can't also be amazing at that certain thing.
Yeah, if you feel called to it, and if you're interested, then do it.
I've had that come up with 3 different people I do for where I see them doing that in the future and growing their abilities or their intuition or whatever. I see that more and more people are starting to. Yep.
And it's
That's
really
awesome.
cool because we're all gathering our covens,
Mm-hmm.
and covens are meant to trigger other people's gifts, right? And women
Wow.
specifically and feminine energy, we do trigger each other's gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it only takes someone saying, you can do it, to be like, oh, I can do it. Right? And then it grows and grows and grows and grows and grows.
Right.
It becomes a community, and we start taking back the energy, and it's just all kind of a domino effect.
And then we are all happy and we take over the world and everything's
Right, and then it's a matriarchy, and then we can actually get some shit done. That would be great.
I so believe we are headed there. Like,
End of this year.
even if it is men, they're gonna be more like just sensitive. I feel.
Right. It will be equality. And if we're talking about patriarchy versus matriarchy as well, it's also very political.
Mm-hmm.
I think witchcraft inherently is also very political. But if we look at patriarchy, it's a tower, right? Matriarchy is a wheel. So it's everyone's in it. Everyone has a piece, and it's a wheel, and we're all connected instead of a tower where there's some at the top that are the authority, right? Matriarchy doesn't have authority. Matriarchy has a community that helps everyone with certain strengths, right? And if you can find the strengths that fit together with each other, like Chelsea and I feel we have very compatible strengths,
Yeah.
that then becomes we're greater than the sum of our parts, right? So that's the right phrase.
I always get so excited, especially have new people on, but I've just learned so much and I just get sucked in.
It's like, whoa.
Because I've learned so much, and not that I remember everything. I really try, but it's so amazing to see everybody's so different, and what you're saying about the will and all it just
All comes together. And we're living in such a fascinating time where
Scary, but
it's terrifying, but it's also kind of fun.
yeah.
Like, it's kind of fun watching it all burn. We've all been feeling it for the last 3 years, and we're just like, okay. And I think we're starting to see a lot of it tumble, but it also kind of puts us into our purpose, right? Where we aren't just kind of trying to live. Instead, we're stepping into our power, and it's happening in mass. Right? Like, there have been some of us that have been, and I hate to use the word awake because, again, it's just aware.
Yeah.
It's not really awake, it's aware. There have been a lot of us that have been aware for quite some time and just have kind of had to sit in it.
Me since like 2018.
Right. It's just like, okay, well, then I guess I'm just going to sit here and go crazy because, the world isn't doing what I can feel it's going to do.
Yeah.
And I still have to, again, make money.
Yeah.
So it's just like, while having this knowing. But I also do think witchcraft helps resolve some of that and helps you kind of like use the energy to benefit you in that waiting period that we've all been in for the last however many years.
Yeah.
And now we can actually start putting it to use. And the more people that can manipulate that energy, the more powerful it is.
So with the psychic side of it, did it all kind of come together at once, the psychic and the witchy part, or do you feel like you recognized you were like, because we talked about you feeling witchy, forever, basically.
Forever.
When did the psychic part kind of come into play with that to where you noticed it, I guess? When did it really come together where you were like, oh, wow?
So that's an interesting question because I don't think it fully has yet.
Okay.
The psychic part, I'm still trying to understand. I don't think I'm psychic in a way that a lot of other people are because I'm not a medium. I don't speak with spirits. It's just a knowing. And I've always kind of had that knowing, right? I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I know what's happening. you know? And it's like, okay, got it. Well, like, what do I do with this?
Right.
And sometimes I'm sure you can relate. It feels like you're crazy because you're just like, how do I know this?
Uh-huh.
And then you kind of have to wait for it to actually appear,
Uh-huh.
and then have a validation
And
that
they're like,
you're not
yep,
crazy.
I knew that.
Yeah, it's like, how did I know that? Though? So like,
Yeah.
I don't do psychic readings yet. I prefer tarot because tarot helps you organize the message that you're getting in a way that you can communicate, right? Like, how do you experience your psychic ability?
So they show me pictures in my mind, and I hear, but not with my ears. This is something I've been talking Taco about recently because it's been happening a lot. I feel like spirit speaks through me. I just talk, but I don't, it just comes out, but it's not me. And so, but the mediumship, it's interesting because I can communicate with dead people super easy.
Yeah, like at night she's got like people talking to her.
I have to
turn it off.
Yeah, I'm closed. Last night was one of those nights, by the way. I was so restless it doesn't happen a lot, but it happens.
They had things to say.
Yeah. And
they're like, hey, Lori,
yeah,
you need to hear this.
Well, here's an interesting too. I told Chelsea this the other day, but this happened to me last week. A friend I have, she's been over.
By the way, she's like scaring the shit out of me.
Why?
Because you call me, you're like, I think someone's gonna die.
Oh, those psychic pings where it's like something bad is gonna happen.
But I figured out what it was.
Yeah.
It was her mom, the urgency of getting a message. Okay, so my friend, I'm not super close with her, and I saw her in December last time. We don't hang out a lot. We talk. It's funny too. She was texting me tonight. This is weird. Anyway, I'm not going to say names, but her mom had recently passed, and I literally was just driving down the street, and her name pops in my head, and then I hear she needs to hear from me today, and I'm like, because then you start questioning, Kate, what? I'm not thinking about nothing. And then she tells me that again. I'm like, oh, it's her mother coming through to me. And I'm like, okay, what's the message anyway? There's a certain situation that my friend had been not too happy with. And her mom was coming to her in her dreams that week with this situation, and her mom behind watching. And my friend told me, because I reached out, I said, don't think I'm cray-cray. And but she knows I do this, and we don't even talk. We've had some conversations, but we don't sit and woo and anyway. But the message was from her mom that she was okay with the situation, and she just wants her dad to be happy and live his life, and she's fine with it, and to accept the situation in the best that she could. And I told her that, and she was like, oh my gosh, because she told me about the dreams, and she told me what they were about. And then I start getting more messages once the conversation going, and like, you have no idea how bad I needed to hear that, because I needed to call her and I can't. But I was feeling super, super anxious that morning, like more than I ever have. I get anxious, like,
just like,
just like
too much energy.
Yeah. And I couldn't figure out why. And I told Chelsea, something's not right. Something's weird. And I did have that. I feel like somebody's going to pass around me. And anyway, and I had to consult Taco about this because we keep learning as we go, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, I told my friend the message, and she was very grateful and stuff that I told her. And Taco's like, okay, but did that feeling go away after you did? So that was the urgency from mother coming through to get her that message, because she was in a dark place.
What's so fascinating with that, and I'm getting kind of a download here, is like with mediums specifically, you're also transmitting energy between the spirit realm and our realm. You're having to resolve energy for those people.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, but is probably terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little weird sometimes.
We're just like, oh my God, like, hello.
Yeah.
Right? But there's still, energy doesn't go away. right?
No.
So you need to resolve the energy from the spirit realm. And you want to go into cats. Cats also do that.
They do.
They do. Like cats are very spiritual beings. And I truly believe that they have one foot in the spirit realm and one foot here. That's why they sleep so much. Right?
They're astral projecting.
They're astral projecting. And I can always tell when they're doing, like, I have 3 cats and I can tell they each have a role. Marlowe is my main familiar, and he most closely resembles my energy. So when I'm doing like pretty heavy spiritual work or pretty heavy rituals or readings, he's always there. And then I have 2 familiars in training, and I think they're graduating soon. I think Marlowe's going to allow them to graduate. But Peaches is my physical protector, but it's because he's very physically in this realm, but he still can go into the astral. And then Wesley is my spiritual protector. So like if I have people over my house, Peaches is the one there physically protecting me. When I'm doing mass rituals and things like that, Wesley is there. But that's also why they show up in dreams a lot. We were talking about this. Like Marlowe's in my dreams constantly. And oftentimes he's just kind of there to just be. And oftentimes I have dreams where I have to put him like a locker because he's there in my like high school dream, and I have to put him somewhere.
Those two.
The high school dreams all the time. Where like I for some reason didn't go to a class the whole semester, and now I have to. It's crazy.
It's like I go back and I have to graduate because I didn't really graduate, and I'm like, wait a minute, I did.
Right, hold on, and then you're freaking out because you missed a whole class, and you have to take the like Marla will be in those dreams, and I have to like put him in a locker because I can't just have a cat in class.
Right.
But sometimes Wesley and Peaches will be there too, but they're a little bit too chaotic for my dreams. So they're in training. But cats are very spiritual creatures as well. And I believe that they can kind of switch out bodies sometimes. So I had, and I think we talked about this as well. I had a cat. Her name is Jenny, and she was my absolute soulmate. Like I had her for 16 years, and she passed. And Wesley is basically Jenny.
Okay.
And sometimes I can tell when Jenny is in his body.
Oh,
wow. I'm just like, oh, you're Jenny right now. Got it. And then I can see him switch back into Wesley, and I'm just like, that's wild. But there's stories all over TikTok and the internet of like cat owners who have a cat pass away, and all of a sudden they have a stray cat that's like protecting their grounds. They can switch back and forth, right? That energy also doesn't go away. But cats are very energetically prone creatures, and that's why witches really like cats and have familiars as cats.
So why do they like brooms?
Why do they like brooms? That's interesting. Brooms in itself is a ritual. So you can do cleaning rituals. If you really need to, I have yet to try this, but I want to. You can come up with like an herb concoction. That's not a great word. A blend of herbs and put it on your floor and then sweep it up. And that's a ritual within itself. So brooms cleaning is a sort of witchcraft.
Yeah, that's why it feels so much better clearing energy.
But you're focusing on a task as well. Like cleaning is a sort of sympathy magic. Where you are sitting, you're focusing on a ritual, you're cleaning out space, and then you're clearing out energy. So cooking is also witchcraft. Like everything is witchcraft, man. Like if we think about it, pretty much everything is witchcraft, which is why religion is so scared of it.
Yeah.
Because it's taking their power away and giving it back to the individual.
Yeah. That's so interesting.
There's no worshiping.
You can work with deities.
True.
And it can aid in certain rituals, and a lot of witches do work with multiple deities as well. And eventually I would like to work with some deities once I have a grounding rod. I live alone. So like I already go too far out of my body sometimes. So I don't want to work with a deity and risk like going clinically insane. Because at the end of the day, you are just a human with a human brain, and there's only so much you can take. Which is why some people crack if they get too far. Because again, it's psychology, right? So.
Yeah, and also to make me feel safe during witchcraft, I always have to like do some type of protection.
Yes.
And even though like maybe it's not like gonna bring you necessarily some bad energy, but it's just like, I don't know, it just helps me feel better.
What do you do
what
to
do you use?
protect? Yeah.
Well, sometimes I do incense. Well, specifically that I get from Cat and Cauldron, the sacred space. And then it really just depends. Sometimes I've done crystals, or I even just don't do anything and I just sit with the tension of like, okay, I'm protected, or I've prayed, not necessarily to God, but like I believe I have spirit guides. I do pray to loved ones often. And then, but when I was younger, I used to pray to God a lot. But I'm just not really, I don't really resonate with that anymore. So,
It's the universe.
yeah.
Energies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just stuff like that. It really depends on what I feel like doing.
Yeah. And that's, again, witchcraft. Whatever you feel like doing in the day. Like, if you one day feel like salt is going to be your protective balance, then go for it. If the next day you want to use a bell, that's also protection, right?
Yeah.
If you want to use incense, if you want to go full, like, warding your name, you can do that. Like, I think that is something to call out, is protection is very, very, very important when you're doing witchcraft. Because again, you are protecting your intention and your energy. If you are just using your energy willy-nilly, then the universe will take that and it will run with it.
Yeah.
Same with like manifestation. If you're manifesting something and you're not putting safeguards around it, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
Where you
I've
might not
had-
get what you want.
Right.
You'll get what you say you want, and it's probably not going to be what you actually want. Same with protection and spell work.
Yeah,
right?
I've had multiple times where my manifestations come from chaos, and I'm
Yes.
like, what the hell?
But you got
I
it.
didn't ask for this.
The universe is like, you did though.
Yeah.
So, you have to be very clear about what you want
Yes.
and the way that you want it. And I know for a fact I've been in my head asking for a collision of something. And I'm like, God, I'm manifesting a car crash and this is going to be
Why do you
bad. I know. It's the situationship. I'm asking for a collision instead of like pussyfooting around it. And I'm like, I probably should not be saying collision.
You're right.
Because like I'm gonna crash into somebody. But now that I'm aware of that, maybe I can counteract it. But it's all about your mind is just so powerful.
Yes.
Your mind is everything,
It really.
right? So, and just like again, if we go back to mediumship, like your mind is on a frequency that you can handle and take in that information. It's your mind. It's all your mind.
Yeah. And even I haven't been in therapy recently, but I've been doing therapy for the past 2 years, and it really has made a big difference with like me even want some type of ritual or feeling grounded. And lately I haven't needed my anxiety meds as much.
Awesome.
I'm also
Yeah.
fully off my antidepressants.
Yay.
Therapy's great because it helps you organize your information. And I actually did ketamine therapy.
Did you?
For some pretty deep trauma, and that in itself is also kind of a ritual,
Yeah.
right? Because your brain is open, and you've opened up, you've taken off the safeguards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously, do ketamine therapy in a controlled environment. I was
Right.
in a doctor's office. I was being administered by a doctor. I had talk therapy after, but it also kind of just helps you understand the landscape of your brain. And that helps you understand where you can pull from and, what might be blocking a certain intention. And like therapy, I recommend therapy to everybody.
Me
Everybody.
too.
Don't ever just do the energy work, ever. You have to have therapy. You need to talk to somebody that is a professional. Like, mental health, you can't replace actual mental health and care with witchcraft.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
then you are keeping the mental chaos in your head, and it's going to spill into your witchcraft. It's going to spill into it. So always
Wow.
go to therapy. People.
Yeah.
You can't
people-
replace therapy with magic.
So show us your cards real quick. What you
Perfect.
have.
So it's so funny because I have a tarot deck and then I have an oracle deck.
Mm-hmm.
The tarot deck has a lighter energy to it, but it's absolutely gorgeous.
Wow, those are beautiful.
I feel like I've seen these.
Those are pretty.
So this company actually went out of business last year.
Really? Oh.
But it's the Weaver Tarot.
Okay.
And I kind of learned the system a little bit through this. Not really. I learned more of the tarot system through Rider-Waite because the symbolism of those just made more sense to me. But now that I have that system down, now I can use these without using the guidebook. But here's, like, it's gorgeous. The other thing with this one is it doesn't follow the standard, like, major arcana, like sovereign instead of age, I think. So there's some of that.
They are just so beautiful.
Beautiful, right? And it was so funny because when I first got it, I started reading for my family and was able to kind of get my family through some situations by just, like, as we were sitting at the kitchen table talking, I was pulling cards and confirming what they were saying.
And were they like, what?
They were like, what is happening? And that's when I started reading astrology for them too. And they're just like, what? And then my sister got super into tarot. If she ever hears this, she's going to hate that I said this. But I was reading for her and my cards were not happy with her because she was not receiving the message. So they started to get really spicy with her.
They're like, listen up.
I'm just like, girl, sit down. And she's just like, I don't like being told what I have to do. So because she didn't like that I was reading her to filth, she actually went and learned all about tarot. So now she went into more of the Aleister Crowley systems and like the actual, like, you have to be scared of tarot. It's like, you don't have to be scared of tarot.
Right.
Like, anyone can do tarot. But this deck, this Oracle deck, it has a certain energy to it. This deck demands respect. And I can only use it in certain situations. And after I got laid off and I had a lot of time and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, because I did not want to go back into corporate America. I couldn't. I still can't.
Yeah.
I can't either, but I'm working.
You got this, girl. We'll get you out of there. It won't exist for that much longer. But I was working with this deck, and I think the last time I counted, I have 50 something decks.
Oh wow!
So I have a lot of decks, but this one kept calling me, and it was demanding a lot of respect. And I really like how they laid out in this book, like, kind of, it has an herb and a crystal that are associated with each card. If you want to look through that and just like what it is.
That's super cool.
And I had this idea that I wanted to create a whole journal of that guidebook, but also add my thoughts to it.
Yeah.
So I spent about 2 weeks writing all of it in a journal, and I did it really weird, but it was the ritual of it. And I haven't looked at that notebook since. But now I understand this deck.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm curious if you feel the same kind of energy around it.
Yeah, I do. When I picked it up, I just got a little buzzy.
Yeah, it's very, like, this feels like a very powerful deck. I don't use it very often. Yeah. But it was one of my first decks. This one and that one.
There's one deck where I don't use very often because it can get dark. It's called, I don't know, something shadow, I think.
Decks, they have certain energy, and I know all of my decks very intimately, and I know when to use certain ones for what. And also what I really like to do with like a combined oracle and tarot is you can pull an oracle card. Like, if we want to do this really quick.
Yes, please do.
These ones are a little bit hard to shuffle, but look at there. There's just so many of them for some reason.
And they're like really good quality too.
Yeah, I don't want to bend them. And because the company doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So what I usually do when I'm shuffling is I shuffle 3 times. 3 is a very prominent number for me. When you are doing your own tarot practice, you might do it 4 times. You might do it 5 times. You might do it once.
See, my number, I think, is 11.
11? I'm not gonna... That's a lot of shuffling.
You do. You're like 1, 2.
Like,
Well, that's my life path number.
Oh, okay.
I found out that mine is 7.
Oh, wow.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
For me.
That kind of makes sense with the Libra moon.
Yeah. My Libra moon, Pisces rising, Scorpio sun, Gemini Mars.
I'm like, what?
It's like, what does it all mean? We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll have to do an episode on stuff.
Astrology. So what you can do is you can pull an oracle card. So the difference between tarot is tarot has a system. Oracle is more based on whoever created the deck. So it doesn't follow a certain system. They're seemingly random cards, or whichever the vibe of it is supposed to be. So what you can do is when you're pulling Oracle, you can get a card. And I usually don't pull cards. I just let them come out like they did that.
Sometimes, every once in a while, I'll just be like, "You're too chaotic," and I'll just.
Yeah, just like, no. It's funny that I got Speak Truth and the Weaver.
Wow.
Now, if you want to clarify those with tarot, you can also take a tarot deck and then use the tarot system to clarify the message from the. Because the tarot deck has a universally understood system, then you can just use that. So, I got 3 cards, and then intuitively. We've got the Star, the Seeker of Cups, which would be, I think in this deck, I think that would be the Queen or Page. No, that would be the Ace. And then the Fool. So that's very interesting. So if we look at the Weaver, again, with Oracle, most of the time you are going to have to look at the guidebook because it is not a system that you can just understand or know. If you use the system the most, like Taco uses her animal deck, she knows what those cards mean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if I used...
This is interesting.
What do you think? Before I even get in there, Chelsea, what do you think?
Well, I think the Star, I mean, we're all kind of like getting in front of the camera. I mean, that's
being
speaks for
visible.
itself, yeah.
We're also building.
Yeah.
Like the Star is all about building. The Star is after the tower. Everything is collapsed. You have nothing. What are you going to build now? Which is very interesting because we are actively in a tower moment. As the world, and all of us are coming together to be able to rebuild it. Weaver. The other thing with these are like they're not numbered, so sometimes I feel clunky when I read with these ones because I'm just like, give me a sec.
Could be anywhere.
Give me a sec while I find this one.
Yeah, I think I know what this one's about.
Speak Truth is pretty.
This one,
and the Weaver, I feel like the Weaver was a card that I loved. So let's find that. I think it's going to be over here. Because the Weaver is part of the archetype. Okay, so I'm going to read this. And it's one of the shorter ones. Like, I want the camera to see. This is one of the shorter ones, which is very interesting. The Weaver. The Weaver is the master of their destiny. The deck is named the Threads of Fate because each one of us has thousands of threads that, when combined, weave the fabric of our life. We can braid, nurture, or sever any strand at any time. And in doing so, we are the Weaver. This card urges you to take inventory of all the threads active within your life at the moment. What needs to happen moving forward? Which ones need to grow stronger? Which ones need to be cut? What actions can you take to tend the threads of your fate? And it's interesting that the Weaver and Speak Truth are combined because that to me is a very clear message.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thread that we're supposed to be strengthening is speaking our truths and sharing power. And then if we look at the tarot to kind of like support that, I need to confirm what the Seeker of Cups is. I'm pretty sure that's the Ace of Cups.
This is also about hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams and future planning. It's the Aquarius type of energy, right?
And the Fool is like
new beginnings.
Dive in.
New beginnings, a new start. I'm being called to just read the Seeker of Cups because I think that will give us the message that we need. Seeker of Cups. And cups are all about emotions. But I also think cups are also about purpose. Oh, I guess Ace of Cups is a thing. So what's the speed? What's the Seeker?
Interesting. I wonder if this deck has like a little bit extra.
That's the thing, is it does have like the Sovereign of Cups, and then it has the Ruler of Cups. So the Sovereign is the Queen. The Ruler is the King. The Seeker is the Page.
Okay.
Page of Cups. So that is a new emotional beginning as well. So I'm just going to read this.
Yes.
The Seeker of Cups brings with it creativity, dreaming, formless raw energy, youth, impulses, the strange and bizarre. You are being invited to explore, be curious, and creative. It is in our relationship with life that we draw inspiration. How are you tending to that relationship? Do you meet the world with rigid thinking or an answer for everything? The Seeker of Cups asks you to throw away preconceptions, especially about yourself and your feelings, and explore. Be open to anything new. Which again, I think really pertains to that Weaver and the Speak Truth.
Yes.
Sometimes the energy associated with the Seeker of Cups can create discomfort in others simply because so much of the Seeker lives in the unseen. Witchcraft. The Seeker is comfortable living in this formless space, but many do not enjoy it. Witchcraft. Answers are not often found here, but questions are, which are just as helpful. If this represents a situation, it may be confusing and fogging. Surrender to it for now and wait for information to be revealed. So now that we've got this spread that's combined with Oracle and Tarot, again, Tarot is a system that you understand. In practice, I would be using a Rider-Waite deck probably to clarify, and not this specific deck to clarify these two. But basically what this message is saying is we have control over our fate. We have control over manipulating energy, but we also have a purpose. And that control that we have will inevitably aid in our purpose. We just have to accept it and sit in it and speak truth to it, but also don't be afraid of it. And don't be afraid of the unknown, right? Because we thrive in the unknown,
right?
Which is thrive in the unknown, because that's potential energy we can use.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense to me. And I've told Chelsea this before, but one of my sayings is, I trust the universe will provide for me what I need when I need it. And I'm telling you, since I really truly believe that, I'm thriving.
that's it.
Yeah.
Is you have to trust.
Yeah.
And to that point, Lori, like with the universe providing, I've been struggling with that a little bit. Like, again, where am I going to be making money? Right? I'm down to like not a lot of money here.
Right.
But that is also the point where it really starts coming in, because if you have enough, the universe isn't going to give you more if you don't need it. And I think that's also the mindset that we've gotten in with capitalism, is we need to hoard everything.
Yeah.
And that puts a block on the universe being able to actually provide to you if you're hoarding everything.
Yeah.
So like for a couple months, I wasn't spending any money.
Yeah.
Of course I'm going to be in a scarcity mindset. Once I started spending money, that's when things started coming back. So it's energy exchange. It's energy. Like, it's all energy. We're all just, this is energy.
Yeah.
This is energy.
Technically, money doesn't even exist.
Money isn't even a thing. It's a digital system that will fall apart when our power grid falls apart, which will be next month. So
I love it. I can't wait to see what happens.
It's fun. It's that meme of RuPaul. Can't wait to see how this goes.
Right?
So it's gonna get fun, guys.
Yeah.
Be
prepared.
Get some herbs, get some crystals. You'll be fine. Just throw crystals at it. We're fine.
Well, thank you so much, Marissa, for joining us, and I can't wait till next time.
Yeah, we have lots of things planned. So
Yes.
thank you so much for inviting me and having me on.
Thank you.
Thank
And stay tuned. Next month, we'll be back.
Bye.
Bye.